Okay, so this will be week 1. This is video number 2, but this will play in the group as they get together for the very first time. So the idea, the format of the group would be they would gather together, small talk, then get started most likely with greeting everybody in the room, and then hit play on the video. The video sets them up for talking through the workbook and the chapter. So this is chapter 1, which is kind of the intro. It's Kitten or Killer is the title of this chapter. It's the intro to the book, and it talks about the story of the man who got mauled by the tiger in his apartment, and then my own tiger, me letting in pornography in my life when I was 10. So these are designed to be 8 to 10 minutes. We'll see how long this one goes. I think I'm close to that, but I'd love to get any feedback specifically on the content that you guys have. Okay, here we go, chapter 1. Well, hey, welcome to the Run Club. You know, joining a run club is a declaration that you're not just gonna stand there anymore, you're ready to run. And of course, I'm not talking about running away like a coward. I'm talking about running toward the fight, ready to square up, take down the enemy. And maybe you're joining a run club because you're sick of losing the fight against a debilitating addiction or a habitual sin. Or maybe you're entering the fight alongside someone else. So if sexual sin is an area of weakness in your life, this is how you let somebody in. And if this is an area of victory in your life, this is how you lean in and help somebody. Because run clubs really are a refusal to let the world do the talking. We refuse to let the porn industry and public schools or even our peers undermine our purity or our purpose. And so we choose to take a stand through honesty and strategy and accountability. Why is this such a big deal? Well, because the addiction that could kill you and destroy your legacy may already be living in your living room. Like what's happened to Antoine Yates. If you read chapter 1 of the book, you know there was a 425-pound Siberian Bengal tiger that mauled him, but it didn't start out as a 425-pound killer. It began as a cuddly 15-pound cub. Now, you probably don't have an actual tiger in your living room, but you may have let a predator in via an addiction in your refrigerator, or a flirtatious relationship at work, or a website that you frequent. And that's how all tigers start, just like it did for Antoine. Small and fun and manageable, seemingly manageable. But listen, what you feed grows. The kitten becomes a killer. So victory in this fight really begins with a 2-part strategy. And that's what I want to share just over these next couple minutes. And I think it's important to start here with number 1, and that is call it what it is. You know, my tiger was pornography. I let it in when I was 10 years old. Turns out that a naive 10-year-old with unfiltered internet access is a recipe for disaster. And what I thought was manageable quickly grew into a monster. The kitten became a killer quicker than I imagined. And what I uncovered that night took me over a decade to break free from, and it even took some painful swipes at my marriage years later. And too many of us have allowed sin to take over because we're unwilling to call it what it is. So I want to encourage you not to settle for soft pet names that downplay your addiction or your sin. Struggle, mistake, slip up. Those may be slightly accurate, but I believe that those sanitize the sin and soften the blow. Let's call it what it is. Let's use the words sin, addiction, killer. Because listen, mistakes don't require counseling, but addictions do. Slip-ups sound innocent, but marriage killer doesn't. Accidents don't require work, but affairs do. So when you call it what it is, you're more prone to fight it as it needs to be fought. And it was only once I started calling it what it was that I was able to receive the help I actually needed. And I can confidently tell you today that I am stronger and freer today because I am more accountable and honest than ever. So you may not face a Siberian Bengal tiger. In fact, I hope that you don't. But the Bible says that the devil is like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. And I need you to know that he is coming for your marriage and your family and your legacy. So we need to call it what it is. And then number two, we also need to commit to the fight. I designed run clubs to be low commitment with high accountability. All I'm asking for is 5 weeks. I'm asking for you to be at every 5 weeks, every meeting each week. And I commit to you to give you tools if you'll commit to talking, because nobody finds victory in silence. Silence is what's killing us. I learned the hard way in my teenage years when my dad figured out some of my website viewing habits. And I'll never forget, he told me, "You can't be looking at that, Kevin, but don't worry, I won't tell your mom." And his attempt at privacy became my excuse for silence. And I went quiet because what he inadvertently communicated to me was, this is dirty and shameful and we don't talk about it. So I went quiet. I pushed people out, and I locked myself in a prison of isolation, and I suffered alone. Now, I'm going to share my story with you, but I need you to be willing to share your story with some of the people around you. We're going to talk about how detailed you should be and what that looks like by the time we get to the end of the run club. But let's remember, this is a run club, not a solo run. Anybody could run wherever on your own, but you can only go so far alone. We're saying no to solo in an effort to say yes to victory. So next week, we're going to discuss chapter 2, which is run from. But this week, we're focusing on we'll discuss that's correct. Next week, we'll discuss the beginning of the strategy. And we start with 2 Timothy 2:22, which is run from. So let's remember, let's quote it, 2 Timothy 2:22, "Flee also youthful lusts, but pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace with those who call on the Lord from a pure heart."